So, dear students, I am Ramanna, the principal of APJ Science Academy in doing Jnanadharya PU College. So, from today onwards, I am going to teach you chemistry subject for you. So, first of all, at the outset, I welcome all the students and also I congratulate all the students for selecting chemistry as one of the optional subject. So, no doubt chemistry is a very vast subject and also very interesting too. In your lower high school classes, you have studied a little bit chemistry. So, but in your PUC classes, you have to learn more. So, to learn more chemistry, you need some basics. So, without knowing the basics, learning of chemistry becomes a little bit difficult. So, chemistry is really a loving subject provided if you learn properly with some basics. Therefore, in these few classes, I will made you to learn some of the basics of chemistry so that it will become easy for you to learn chemistry. So, dear students, all science subjects need proper attention and proper directions. So, first of all, being science students, you to be proud because science students will have a different attitude. So, you will be different from other students in your behavior, in your attitude, you are well mannered, you are well dressed, etc. So, being science students, you must be always very attentive. You must be always in a position to ask a question by yourself or to others. So, what happens to this? Why this is? What happens? And how does it occurs? These are the questions which will be created in your mind. So, being science students, that is the right thing to be. So, coming to the chemistry subject. So, chemistry subject is of 100 marks. So, similarly all optional subjects, namely physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology and computer science, all and also all other languages, namely Kannada, English, Hindi, Sanskrit, whatever it may be, all subjects carries 100 marks. But in physics, chemistry, biology and computer science, 70% marks out of 100 marks, 70 will be for theory and 30 marks will be for practicals. So, practicals carries 30 marks and your theory classes carries 70 marks. So, but the syllabus is really heavy, but don't bother about the syllabus. So, the same situation will be faced by all the students and you need not worry. So, as I told you, chemistry is a vast subject and it is really a volatile subject. So, to keep the chemistry remembering, you have to understand the subject of chemistry. So, without understanding subject, you cannot remember the subject. So, to understand the subject, I need or you need a proper attention, 100% attention when classes are going on. So, after the classes, you have to work it out. You cannot read science subjects, you have to work the subjects. So you have to write whatever you cannot write on your own, namely the laws, hypotheses, derivations, etc. Because if a single word is eliminated from the statement, the meanings becomes different. Therefore, to have a proper or perfect definitions of any laws or any statements or any hypothesis, what is needed is, so you have to practice. Practice makes the man perfect. To make practice, you have to write down. So make the practice by writing. This is the one thing I have to tell you. So being science students, you read everything you see, but you have to remember, you have to write. So understand? So first let us enter into some basics. So this is the first chemistry bridge course class. So therefore I have mentioned it here is C1. So this is the first chemistry class. Make the number as C1, chemistry bridge course. So first of all, we will know what is chemistry. What is chemistry? So as you know, chemistry is the branch of science which deals with which includes the study of composition of the subject or composition of the object, structure of the object, as well as the properties of object. The branch of science which deals with the study of, number 1, composition, number 2, structure, and number 3, properties of substances or matters. So this is the first thing. Chemistry is really a beautiful subject and also a very interesting subject, in which we will study the composition of the substance, structure of the substance, properties of substance, etc. So now you have come across 3 words: composition, structure, properties. So what is the meaning of composition? Say for example, water. Water is a matter or water is a substance. So coming to what is composition? Coming to the composition, what is the meaning of study of composition of the substance? Composition means what are the things present in that substance is called composition. The things that are present in the substance is called composition. And how the things are present. Say for example, water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. So the formula of hydrogen, it is also called as dihydrogen, H2, and oxygen, it is also called as dioxygen, O2. So what are the things which are present in water? Water is made by the elements hydrogen and oxygen. So, in which ratio these hydrogen and oxygen are present? So, hydrogen and oxygen are present in the ratio 2:1. 2:1. What is the formula of water? Formula, how water is represented by? Water is represented by the formula H2O. So, water is made up of two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen are in the ratio 2:1 and the chemical formula of water is H2O. So, this comes under the word composition. So, in chemistry we will study the composition of the substance, means the substance is made up of what are all the elements and in which ratio these elements are present, what is the chemical formula of the substance. All these comes under composition. Next, coming to the structure. Structure. So, what is the meaning of structure? As I have told you, water is made up of or made by the two elements hydrogen and oxygen. They are in the ratio 2:1. Then what is the formula of water? H2O. So, and then coming to the structure, how these elements are linked in the molecule of water. So, this molecule of water can be written like this: HOH. But this structure is called a linear structure, but experimental studies have shown that the structure of water molecule is not linear, but it is a bent shape like this. So, like this is the bent shape or V shape. So, what is the shape of water? The shape of water is either bent or V shape. So, we will study the structure of water, how this structure occurs. So, we will going to learn it in detail. So, what I am intended to tell you is, in chemistry, what is chemistry? It is the branch of science in which we will study the composition of the substance, structure of the substance. So, this is how these are the things comes under structure. What is the structure of water molecule? In water, hydrogen and oxygen elements are present. What is the chemical formula? H2O. What is the structure of water molecule? It is not linear, it is bent shape or V shape. So, this is the structure of water molecule. How this structure we will going to learn in detail in your future classes. And lastly, coming to the properties. So, the third factor in chemistry we will learn is properties. So, property. So, in property we will going to learn what is the state of a substance, color, solubility and so many other properties. So, say for example, what is the state of water? So, water is present in the liquid state at room temperature and at 1 atmospheric pressure. So, this is the state of water at room temperature and at 1 atmospheric pressure. What is the color of water? Color of water is colorless. What is the taste of water? Taste of water is, it is tasteless. So, what is solubility? So water itself is a universal solvent. Water is called universal solvent. Why it is called universal solvent? Because it dissolves so many substances. So it dissolves so many substances. Therefore water is called universal solvent. So, and also there are so many properties. Say for example, when the temperature of water is altered, say for example water at 25 degree centigrade, if the temperature of water is reduced to 0 degree centigrade, it is converted into ice. When the temperature of water is increased to 100 degree centigrade, it is converted into steam. So by altering the temperature as well as the pressure, we can change the state of the substance. So there are so many anomalous properties of water. Say for example, when water is cooled, it is converted into ice. When coming to other substances, the solid form of any other substance is heavier than its liquid form. That means the density of the solid form of any substance is greater than the density of its liquid form. Therefore, the solid forms will sink in their liquid form. But in case of water, what happens? Suppose this is water, liquid water. When you put ice cube, what happens? Ice cube floats. Ice cube floats. Why? Why ice cubes floats? Because the density of ice is less than the density of liquid. So density of ice is less than density of liquid water. So coming to other substances, say for example, this is liquid iron. So if you drop a solid piece of iron, what happens? The solid piece of iron will go and settle at the bottom of the liquid iron, because the density of iron, which iron? Solid iron is greater than the density of its liquid form. So in all other cases other than water, the density of the solid forms are greater than the density of its liquid form. Therefore the solid forms will sink in their liquid form. But in case of water, the solid ice will float on water. This is because the density of ice is less than density of water. So this is why this is due to. So in the later stages, you will going to know that the density of ice is less than density of water because of hydrogen bonding. So you will know what is hydrogen bonding. So because of hydrogen bonding, the density of ice is less than density of water. Therefore ice floats on water. For example, so when the density is less, the volume occupied by unit weight of substance will be more. If you keep water in glass bottles in deep fridge in refrigerators, what happens? The bottle bursts. So, or if you keep beer bottles in deep fridge or freezer, what happens? The beer bottles broken. Why this is due to? Because on cooling, water is converted into ice the volume of ice is greater than the volume of water. Therefore, during expansion of water, the bottles breaks. This is also due to hydrogen bonding. Because of hydrogen bonding, volume of ice is greater than the volume of water. Because of hydrogen bonding, the density of water is greater than that of water. Because of hydrogen bonding, what happens? So, in polar regions, formation of ice takes place from the top, not from the bottom. Because of hydrogen bonding, density of ice is less than the density of liquid water. Therefore, formation of ice takes place from the surface of the sea, not from the bottom of the sea. Assume what will going to happen if solidification of ice takes place from the bottom. If solidification of ice takes place from the bottom, all the aquatic animals will be in the pathetic condition. That means they will going to die. So, because of hydrogen bonding, solidification of water takes place from the bottom. When the formation of ice takes place, it acts as an insulator and prevent further solidification of water. Therefore, aquatic animals live under the water below the ice layer. Therefore, they can survive. So, if solidification takes place from the bottom, all aquatic animals did not survive, so they will going to die. These are the things comes under properties. So, what is chemistry now? I told you only one sentence. Chemistry is the branch of science in which we are going to study the composition, structure and properties of substances or matter. So, you know what is composition now, you know what is structure now, you know what are the properties, structure, composition, etc. So, now coming to the branches of chemistry. So, in chemistry there are so many branches, out of which I will mention a few. So, what are the branches of chemistry? So, in chemistry there are so many branches, namely organic chemistry, number 2 inorganic chemistry, number 3 physical chemistry, number 4 biochemistry, and number 5 industrial chemistry, number 6 nuclear chemistry, number 7 radiation chemistry or photochemistry, etc. There are so many branches. So, out of which in your PUC classes you will going to learn only 3 branches: organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry and physical chemistry. So, what is organic chemistry? Organic chemistry is the branch of chemistry in which we will study the preparation, properties and uses of compounds of carbon only. The study of preparation, properties and uses of carbon compounds. So the study of carbon compounds is made a separate branch in chemistry because carbon compounds are so large. So carbon gives so many compounds, so that the study of these carbon compounds has been made a separate branch. Because of what? Because of catenation. You have studied in your high school classes what is catenation. The capacity of carbon atom to combine with other carbon atom to form a long chain or branched chains or short chains gives innumerable number of compounds. Therefore, study of carbon compounds has been made a separate branch which is known as organic chemistry. What is organic chemistry? The study of carbon compounds is called organic chemistry. Then what is inorganic chemistry? The study of compounds other than carbon compounds are called inorganic chemistry. The study of compounds other than carbon compounds, is called inorganic chemistry. So all other compounds other than compounds has been made a separate branch which is called as inorganic chemistry. Then coming to physical chemistry. What is physical chemistry? In physical chemistry, we will know what are the parameters required for a reaction to take place. Namely, what is the effect of pressure, what is the effect of temperature, what is the effect of catalyst. So how to improve the yield of the product, how to decrease the yield of the product, and the theories which explains these reactions comes under physical chemistry. So in physical chemistry, we will study the parameters required to increase the rate of reaction. So to increase the rate of a chemical reaction, we have to increase the concentration of reactants, we have to increase the temperature of the reaction, we have to introduce the catalyst. So what is the optimum temperature, what is the optimum pressure to get a good yield? These are all comes under physical chemistry, and also the theories behind these physical as well as chemical processes comes under physical chemistry, which we will going to learn. Then biochemistry, the study of biochemicals. The study of biochemicals, that means the chemicals which are occur in our body as well as in living organisms. So the study of compounds which occur in living organisms, both in plants and animals, and also the biochemical reactions. The study of biochemicals, biochemical reactions which occur in the living organisms comes under biochemistry. Coming to industrial chemistry. What is industries? Industrially important chemistry. So industrial application plays major role. For example, all metals are produced in the industries. For example, if you manufacture iron, gold, silver, copper, aluminium, all metals will be extracted from industries, and also we will prepare so many paints, etc. comes under industrial chemistry. So the study of The study of industrial processes. Industrial processes that occur during the extraction of metals and their compounds, etc., comes under industrial chemistry. And what is nuclear chemistry? So in nuclear chemistry we will study the subatomic particles. So what are subatomic particles? So in your lower classes, according to Dalton's atomic theory, you have known that atoms are the smallest particle and they cannot be further divided. This is one of the postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. But atoms can be still divided into subatomic particles, namely protons, neutrons, electrons. So the atom is composed of subatomic particles like protons, neutrons, electrons. So the study of subatomic particles, the stability of the nucleus, natural and artificial radioactivity. You might have heard radioactive substances. There are some elements which emit alpha rays, beta rays, gamma rays by themselves. Those substances are called radioactive substances. So they can also be prepared artificially. So the study of natural or artificial radioactive substances is called radioactivity. All comes under nuclear chemistry. And then photochemistry. There are some chemical reactions which are brought about by namely sunlight or radiations, photons. Photo means light. Reactions brought about by or initiated by light comes under photochemistry. So these are all the branches of chemistry. So don't worry about all these things, but have in your mind that there are so many branches in chemistry, out of which we will going to study only 3 branches in your PUC classes. Next, we will come to the importance of chemistry, application of chemistry, or the use of chemistry for our mankind. So, as human beings, we are interesting. Why should we chemistry? What is the use of chemistry? So that comes under importance of chemistry. Importance of chemistry. Importance of chemistry. So first one, chemistry provide us number 1, food. Number 2, shelter. Food, shelter. Number 3, clothing. Chemistry provide us food, shelter, clothing, etc. So how chemistry provide us food? So we will grow food. So we will grow crops to get food. For the growth of plants, for the growth of crops, we need fertilizers. So fertilizers. So fertilizers we will use, and then insecticides, pesticides, and then preservatives, etc. we will prepare using chemistry. So how chemistry provide us good food, good crops. So this is how chemistry provide us food for us. So for the growth of food, we will grow plants. For the growth of plants, we will use fertilizers. Fertilizers are nothing but chemical substances. They are prepared using chemistry. Insecticides. So what are insecticides? These are the chemicals which will spray over plants to control insects or pests. So insects matte pests galanna control ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ we will spray chemicals. Those are prepared using chemistry. Then preservatives, for the preservation of food. Say for example, nowadays there are so many packed foods. Packed foods will definitely contain a preservative. So if you do not use preservative, this food will be spoiled within 1 or 2 days. Therefore, to preserve the food for longer time, we will use preservatives. So preservatives we will prepare from chemicals. So this is how chemistry is useful in providing us food. Coming to the shelter. So how chemistry is useful in providing us a shelter? We will construct houses. For the construction of houses, what we will use? We will use cement, we will use sand, we will use iron, we will use aluminium, we will use glass, you will use ceramics, paints, so on and so forth. All these things we can prepare from chemistry. Cement is a chemical. Sand we cannot. Sand is nothing but silicate. That is, silicon dioxide is called sand. Iron, for the construction of houses we will use iron. The main metal which is used in the construction of houses are iron. Aluminium is used, glass is used, ceramics, that is the tiles we will use in the construction of houses. Wall tiles, floor tiles are nothing but ceramics, paints, etc. These are all the things which we will prepare using chemistry. Coming to clothing. So for the manufacture of cloth, we will use fibers. It may be a natural fiber or artificial fiber. Natural fiber means it is a cellulose, that means cotton, or we will use silk. So how silk cloths are produced? Silk cloths are produced by using the proteins of the silkworms. So silkworms ooze out the protein in the form of liquid in the beginning. When it comes out, when this juice or the protein comes out, it reacts with air and converted into in the form of thread. So that thread is nothing but silk thread. Using silk thread we can prepare silk cloths. So cellulose, and also we will prepare artificial fibers, namely terylene, nylon cloths. So terylene, nylon, these are all artificial fibers which are used for preparing clothes. So this is how chemistry is useful in providing us food, shelter, clothing, etc. Number 2, chemistry provide us life-saving drugs. So chemicals are used in the preparation of drugs, medicines, etc. So namely, so if you get fever, you will use paracetamol, a chemical. It is in the form of Dolo 650, crocin, etc. So they are called antipyretics, the chemicals which are used to down the body temperature, to decrease the body temperature, are called antipyretics. We will use some chemicals to decrease the body pain. They are called analgesics, antibiotics, tranquilizers, and then anesthesias, and then anti-fertility drugs. These are all the drugs which are prepared using chemicals. So we will going to study them in detail. So this is the applications of chemistry in life-saving drugs and medicines. Number 3, chemical products are used to improve our lifestyle. So chemical products to improve our lifestyle. So what are the products we will going to use to improve our lifestyle? Namely, soap. We are going to use for both bathing purposes as well as washing clothes. Soaps, detergents. These are the chemicals which are used to wash clothes. Soaps, detergents, hair oil, perfumes, body deodorants, cosmetics, nail polish, boot polish. So there are and then these etc. These are the chemicals which are used to improve our lifestyle. So body deodorants, mouthwashers, toothpaste, etc. are obtained from chemical substances. So using chemistry, we will prepare polymers, rubber, glass, and then plastics, etc. So chemistry is also used to control pollution. As well as for the treatment of industrial waste, etc. So we will use some of the chemicals in refrigerators and air conditioners, namely CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. So CFCs and chlorine gas will deplete the ozone layer in the atmosphere. So there are so many disadvantages also. So CFC and chlorine are the chemicals which deplete the ozone layer in the atmosphere. So these are the some of the importance of chemistry. So today we have studied what is chemistry, what are the branches of chemistry, and then what are the importance of chemistry. A little in brief. So in your next class we will continue further. So thank you very much. So study well and good luck, and also I wish you all the best in joining our college.